Hello everyone, Doctor here. So, what if the healthy breakfast you rely on every morning is the exact reason your blood sugar refuses to drop? And what if correcting this one error could start changing your numbers within 24 hours? Did you know that the healthy breakfast you've been eating for years could be the reason your blood sugar isn't dropping? I'm not discussing anything exotic or complicated. I'm referring to the simple, humble food in your refrigerator right now, which, when used incorrectly, can cause your blood sugar to skyrocket, but when used correctly, can become one of your most powerful allies in controlling it. Today, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about eggs and diabetes because there's a big secret no one has told you, and it's affecting your numbers every morning without you knowing it. I understand exactly how you feel. You take care of yourself, you try to eat healthily, you follow the advice you were given, but your numbers are stubborn and refuse to go the way you want. And that is frustrating and exhausting. It makes you feel as if your body isn't responding to anything you do. But what I'm about to show you today will completely change that narrative because the issue is frequently not your body, but the information you were given. And incorrect information causes silent damage every day. As you know, my name is Dr. Doctor, and if you want to receive tips like these every week, subscribe to this channel right now and enable notifications so you don't miss anything. What I'm sharing here is intended to help you make better health decisions by providing you with accurate and up-to-date information. Subscribe now, it only takes 2 seconds, and stick around until the end because what comes next could literally change your numbers starting tomorrow. There's something I need to explain before we talk about eggs, because without it, nothing else makes sense. Diabetes makes it difficult for your body to process carbohydrates. That is something you already know. However, you may not be aware that not all foods have the same effect on your blood sugar levels. There are foods that not only do not raise your blood sugar, but also help to mitigate the effects of other foods you consume. Protein is one of those secret allies. When you consume high-quality protein in conjunction with carbohydrates, something fascinating occurs within your body. Protein acts as a natural brake, slowing the rate at which sugar from carbohydrates enters the bloodstream. Instead of a sudden spike that leaves your blood sugar at 200 an hour later, you get a more gradual release that your body can handle with less stress. Eggs are one of the most complete and accessible protein sources available. 2 whole eggs provide approximately 12 grams of high-quality protein, which contains all of the amino acids that your body requires but cannot produce on its own. Eggs have a glycemic index of 0, absolute 0. Eggs do not raise your blood sugar by a single point. However, when combined correctly, they can help keep everything else you eat from overpowering it. And here's what no one tells you, which I find truly revealing. Many diabetics avoid eggs due to a fear of cholesterol. They go months or even years without eating them, thinking they're doing themselves a favor. Meanwhile, their blood sugar remains high, their energy is low, and their cholesterol occasionally worsens. Why? Because what they replaced eggs with at breakfast was not better, but worse. It included bread, instant oatmeal, fruit juice, and boxed cereal. All simple carbohydrates that quickly convert to sugar with nothing to slow them down because there is no protein present. And that is precisely what happened to one of my most memorable patients. I recall her perfectly. Danielle Emily visited my office about 10 months ago. She was 64 years old. She had been living with type 2 diabetes for 8 years and walked in with a folder full of lab results she had accumulated over time. She sat down in front of me, and before I could say anything, she started crying softly, not out of desperation, but out of deep exhaustion from fighting for so long that they don't know what else to do. Dr. Ben, she said, wiping her tears, I did everything they said. I stopped eating eggs nearly 2 years ago because my previous doctor told me cholesterol was bad for my heart. I changed my breakfast. I eat oatmeal every day with fruit and natural juice because it was recommended as the healthiest option. I take my medications without skipping a single dose. I walk 3 times a week, and my fasting blood sugar remains between 155 and 175 every morning. My A1C is 8.2%, and my cholesterol did not decrease. It went up. I'm doing everything correctly, but nothing works. When she described her breakfast in detail, I immediately understood. Instant oatmeal with honey and ripe banana, served with a glass of fresh orange juice. That breakfast, while healthy, was actually a massive load of quickly absorbed carbohydrates, with almost no protein to slow things down. her blood sugar would spike to 210 or 220 every morning, just half an hour after breakfast. And because there was no protein to keep her full, by 10 a.m., she was hungry again and looking for something to snack on. Her body never had a moment of rest. It never gave her pancreas a break because her blood sugar was constantly fluctuating like a never-ending roller coaster throughout the day. I carefully explained to her the most recent scientific findings on eggs and cholesterol because the information she had received was out of date and was causing her serious harm. Recent scientific research has consistently shown that for the majority of people, the cholesterol you consume in foods is not the primary driver of cholesterol levels in your blood. Your liver produces cholesterol on its own and is primarily affected by refined sugars and trans fats. In fact, studies published in reputable medical journals have observed that eating whole eggs can improve your cholesterol profile. It can help raise HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol that protects your heart, and it can change the size of LDL particles from a small, dense form, which is more dangerous, to a larger, more buoyant form, which is much safer. I proposed an extremely simple change. Nothing radical or complicated, simply replacing the breakfast that was raising her blood sugar every morning with one based on real protein. I explained how to properly cook eggs, what to pair them with, and how many to consume. She called me 2 weeks later with a completely different tone of voice than during her first visit. Dr. Ben, my blood sugar level after breakfast was 140, not 210. I can't believe this. I tested it 3 days in a row to make sure. After 1 month, her fasting blood sugar level had dropped from 165 to 142. After 3 months, her A1C dropped from 8.2% to 7.5%. Her LDL cholesterol, which had worried her so much, also decreased, and she told me something that deeply moved me. Doctor, for the first time in years, I wake up excited about breakfast because I know what I'm about to eat will benefit me rather than punish me 2 hours later. But wait, because what follows is the practical part, and it's exactly what you need to know to experience this for yourself. The first thing I want you to know about how many eggs you can eat is to let go of any fears you may still have. For most diabetics who do not have severe kidney disease or other specific contraindications, eating 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is completely safe and even beneficial. I say whole eggs because the yolk is very important. For decades, we were taught to discard the yolk and save only the whites. That advice was based on data that modern science has thoroughly re-examined. The yolk contains the majority of an egg's nutrients. It contains choline, an essential nutrient for fat metabolism in the liver. And when you have diabetes, your liver requires all of the help it can get. It also contains vitamin D, which, according to multiple studies, can help improve insulin sensitivity at the cellular level, which means your cells respond more effectively to the insulin produced by your pancreas. It contains lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 compounds that protect your eyes from the harm that chronic high blood sugar can cause. And if there's one thing a diabetic should protect, it's their eyes. It also contains B-complex vitamins, which help to maintain nervous system function and prevent the tingling in the hands and feet that so many diabetics experience over time. Don't throw away the yolk, eat the entire egg. The benefits are within it. And here's what's truly important and powerful. It changes everything. It's not just how many eggs you eat, but also how you cook them. The best food in the world can be completely destroyed if it is prepared incorrectly. Unfortunately, the way most people prepare eggs is what causes the most harm to their numbers. Frying them in large amounts of oil or butter and serving them with white toast or flour tortillas has the potential to raise your blood sugar to 200 with alarming consistency. Not because the egg is bad, but because what you put around it is a combination of saturated fat and refined carbohydrates that temporarily block insulin while increasing glucose. The proper way to prepare eggs is much simpler than you might believe. Scrambled eggs in a non-stick pan without a drop of oil are ideal. Eggs have enough natural fat to prevent sticking. Lightly beat them, then pour them into a hot pan over medium heat. Stir gently for 2 to 3 minutes or until cooked but still creamy. You can also boil them, which is the most basic and practical method. Place them in cold water, bring to a boil, and cook for 10 minutes, firm yolk, or 6 minutes, softer yolk. You can prepare them the night before and store them in the refrigerator. Another great option is a vegetable-filled omelette. Beat 2 eggs and cook in a non-stick pan without oil. Add fresh spinach, tomato, onion, mushrooms, or any other vegetables you have. Vegetables contain more fiber, which increases the slowing effect on blood sugar, and they add volume, making you feel full without increasing carbs. Tell me in the comments how you usually prepare your eggs, because I'd like to know where you're starting so I can provide more specific advice. What you pair the eggs with has a greater impact on your blood sugar than how you prepare them. Avocado pairs well with eggs in a diabetic diet. Avocado's healthy fat does not cause a spike in blood sugar. Instead, it slows and stabilizes digestion. Spinach contains magnesium, a mineral that many diabetics lack and which is important for insulin sensitivity. Tomatoes, peppers, and mushrooms make excellent allies because they contain fiber and few carbohydrates. This combination of 2 eggs cooked without oil, half an avocado, and a large serving of vegetables can keep your blood sugar stable for 4 to 5 hours. That means you arrive at lunchtime without the desperate hunger and intense sugar cravings that are so difficult to resist when your blood sugar has dropped significantly. Don't leave, because what follows is something few people are aware of, and it has the potential to significantly impact your morning numbers. Most people only think of eggs as a breakfast food. While breakfast is the best time to eat them because it stabilizes your blood sugar from the start of the day and limits the spikes that would occur if you only ate carbohydrates, eggs at dinner have a benefit that almost all of my patients are surprised to learn about. When you eat high-quality protein for dinner instead of carbohydrates, something significant occurs overnight. Your liver normally releases glucose continuously while you do so in a more moderate and controlled manner. This can lead to lower fasting blood sugar the following morning. This change has been observed to result in a 15 to 20 point difference in fasting blood sugar for some individuals. Imagine waking up tomorrow to a lower number on your glucose meter, not because you took more medication, but because you ate 2 eggs with vegetables for dinner instead of rice or tortillas. And here's what nobody tells you about the most common mistakes diabetics make when attempting to eat eggs in a healthy way. The first is to fry them, even in a small amount of olive oil, believing that because it is olive oil, it is safe. Olive oil is great when used cold on salads, but when heated to high temperatures for frying, it loses some of its properties and adds unnecessary calories and fat that your body doesn't need, especially since eggs already contain natural fat. The second mistake is to serve them with fresh orange juice. Many people believe that natural juice is healthier and unlike packaged juice. However, for someone with diabetes, even fresh juice is liquid sugar without fiber, which enters the bloodstream quickly. A whole orange with its fiber intact is a far superior option to juice. The third mistake is including processed cheese or cured meats such as ham or sausage. Processed cheese and deli meats are high in sodium and contain additives that have no benefit for your blood pressure or overall health. If you want to include cheese, use fresh cheese or a small amount of cottage cheese in moderation. I have to tell you about James Taylor because his story perfectly exemplifies how small changes can dramatically alter someone's numbers. James Taylor, 58, arrived at the office 7 months ago with a look of resignation that immediately drew my attention. He was a quiet man with few words. He put his lab results on the desk without saying anything and looked at me, waiting for me to speak first. His A1C was 8.6%. His fasting blood sugar levels averaged 178. He'd had type 2 diabetes for 5 years and been taking metformin for 3. He told me that every day for breakfast, he ate 2 eggs fried in oil with refried beans and 3 corn tortillas. He thought he was eating well because he included eggs and beans, both of which contain protein, but the problem was with the preparation and combination. The oil used to fry the eggs, the fat in the refried beans, and the tortillas all contributed to the problematic combination that spiked his blood sugar every morning. I proposed a specific and simple change. Instead of frying the eggs, he'd boil or scramble them without oil. Instead of refried beans, he would eat whole, lower-fat beans. Instead of 3 corn tortillas, he would eat 1 and add fresh vegetables to make up for the volume. That was the only change we made in the beginning. 3 weeks later, James Taylor returned for his follow-up appointment, and for the first time since I met him, he smiled slightly but genuinely. Dr. Ben, my morning numbers range between 145 and 155. They never went below 170. I did not change anything else except what you told me about breakfast. After 4 months, his A1C was down to 7.8%. When his primary care doctor asked him what he had done differently, James Taylor responded simply, as was his style. I changed the way I make my eggs, doctor. That was all. But wait, because I want to give you something concrete and practical that you can start using as soon as tomorrow without having to memorize anything complex. The ideal breakfast for a diabetic who wants to reap the benefits of eggs looks like this. 2 scrambled eggs cooked without oil in a non-stick pan, or 2 boiled eggs served with half an avocado and a generous serving of vegetables such as spinach, tomatoes, or peppers. If you feel like you need something more, add a small slice of real whole grain bread with visible seeds and a dense texture rather than soft and fluffy. Eat it after the eggs, not before. If you start with the bread, your blood sugar levels rise before the protein can do its job of slowing things down. If you begin with the eggs, the protein is already working by the time the carbohydrates from the bread arrive, and the impact on your blood sugar is much lower. If you're hungry in the middle of the morning before lunch, a hard-boiled egg prepared the night before, combined with a small handful of nuts or almonds, has little effect on your blood sugar and keeps you satisfied without cravings. If you want to take advantage of the earlier mentioned fasting blood sugar benefit, a 2-egg omelette with plenty of vegetables and no bread is a light, nutritious, and powerful option for improving your numbers the next morning. And what I'm about to say is extremely important, and I don't want you to miss it. Eggs do not interfere with metformin. You can eat them with confidence. If you take insulin, you should consult your doctor before switching to a high-protein breakfast because protein can make your insulin work more effectively and your numbers may drop more than expected. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but your doctor needs to know so they can adjust your dosage as needed. Always keep your personal doctor informed of any dietary changes you make, especially if you are taking medications. Communication with your healthcare team is an essential component of effective control. I'd like to share something else with you because it's a frequently asked question. The quality of the egg is important, but it does not need to be perfect for you to benefit. Organic, pasture-raised eggs contain higher levels of omega-3 and vitamin D than conventional eggs. If you have access to them and can afford them, they are a great choice. However, if organic eggs are out of your price range or not readily available, regular supermarket eggs are still an extremely nutritious and beneficial food. Don't stop eating eggs because you can't get organic ones. The benefits of incorporating them correctly into your diet far outweigh the distinction between organic and conventional. I want you to leave this video with a clear message. Eggs are not your enemies. They never were. What may have been your enemy without your knowledge was how you prepared them and what you paired them with. When you start preparing your eggs without oil, combining them with avocado and vegetables instead of white bread and processed meats, and including them not only for breakfast but also for dinner, you are giving your body a real and powerful tool to stabilize your blood sugar in a way that no pill can do on its own. Daniel Emily said it to me in the most beautiful way during her last appointment. Dr. Ben, I used to believe that controlling my diabetes was an impossible task, and it turned out that part of the solution had been in my refrigerator all along. I only needed to know how to use it. That's exactly what I want for you. That having the correct information gives you back control. That every morning when you open your refrigerator and see those eggs, you are filled with confidence that you will use them to your advantage. Remember that this video is intended solely for informational and educational purposes. Always consult your personal doctor before making any changes to your diet or treatment plan because everyone is unique, and what works for most people may require adjustments based on your specific circumstances. If this video opened your eyes and you believe that for the first time someone explained eggs and diabetes in a way that makes complete sense, I invite you to subscribe to this channel right away. Every week, I share information like this that is specifically designed to help you live better with diabetes, complete with real data, no false promises, and no unnecessary complications. If you found this video helpful, please like and share it with someone you know who needs to hear it today. That simple gesture could alter the numbers of someone you care about. Tell me in the comments what change you intend to make first in the way you prepare your eggs. I enjoy reading your responses and knowing that this information is reaching those who really need it. When you provide your body with the right information, it can respond better than you realize. Give it the opportunity. This isn't about doing everything. It's about doing the right thing, beginning today. Your body is ready for improvement. It's simply been waiting for the right strategy. Make this change tomorrow morning, and you may never look at breakfast the same way again. See you soon in the next video.